Hello and welcome once more to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Amata. Today is the 27th of March and this time I have some rather interesting speculation. SuperData Research has posted a rather interesting article which I will link in the description below this video, which has had some rather interesting speculation given birth from it. And that speculation is that, well, we're going to be getting a new Resident Evil game as well as Call of Duty Black Ops 3. And they're actually speculating quite specifically by saying this fall. Now, they don't actually come out and say Resident Evil 7. They simply say the next Resident Evil. So that could be HD re-release of an older game or possibly even a new Revelations title. But given the context of the whole article, which is discussing main titles, I think it could be Resident Evil 7. Now, they do say on their post right at the bottom that they don't actually have any information that points to the release of Resident Evil 7 specifically, just as they think that the data is pointing to a release of a new Resident Evil title, but it would make sense for it to be Resident Evil 7. And to be honest, well, one of the main reasons I think that it'll probably be Resident Evil 7 is, well, it's actually been a while since we've had a major iteration in this series. Of course, Resident Evil 6 came out in 2012. We, of course, had Resident Evil Revelations 2 and the Resident Evil HD Remaster this year. Now, that doesn't rule out a different HD Remaster. In fact, I would actually jump up and down with happiness if it was, say, Resident Evil 2 Remastered. That would be amazing. But I think given that they've had Revelations and HD Remaster come out this year, they're not going to want to do Revelations so soon. Or at least reveal it so soon after the last title was just released. They might do another HD Remaster, but I think, well, it's been a while since we had a main Resident Evil title, and Resident Evil 6 was so renownedly awful, that I think we're due a return to form in the mainline series. Resident Evil Revelations has shown that Capcom still have it in them to make survival horror the way they used to, albeit with a few modernizations. So I don't see why we couldn't have that in Resident Evil 7. So we could have that come out and it could redeem the series and possibly even help scrub Resident Evil 6 from our collective memories. That would be lovely. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled and very much waiting for their potential reveal at E3 this year. If it's going to be coming out this year, that is when we'll see the announcement. Obviously, it's in June, so it seems far off now, but it will come up before you know it, and I would not be surprised to see something from them. Resident Evil 2 HD Remaster, yes, oh my god, yes, that would be amazing. In fact, I'd actually kind of prefer that over Resident Evil 7 if I'm completely honest. But to be honest, it's more likely to be Resident Evil 7. Just because they haven't shown any willingness to remake anything other than, well, the original Resident Evil. So, fingers crossed, either way, as long as Resident Evil 7 is actually, you know, Resident Evil and not an action game that Leon happens to be in, I will be happy. So it's going to be interesting. What would you like to see though? Would you prefer it be a HD remaster of a game like, say, Resident Evil 2 or 3? Or would you prefer that it was actually a new main entry into the series that is actually a return to form? I mean, Resident Evil 5 wasn't exactly great. I mean, it wasn't bad. Resident Evil 6, you know. So I feel like, you know, we're owed a decent main Resident Evil game at this point. Moving on briefly, though, to Call of Duty 3. Now, this is actually not only referring to, of course, the success of Advanced Warfare, which actually did pretty well and was actually the first Call of Duty game to interest me even slightly. We had Activision CEO making an announcement in February that Treyarch would, of course, be releasing a new installment in the Call of Duty series. Now, of course, Treyarch were the ones that did Black Ops 2 back in 2012, so it could very much be that they are referring to Black Ops 3. Now, there is a chance for it to be Call of Duty World War II, as was speculated a while ago, but to be honest, it's a bit more likely to be Black Ops 3. World War II would be nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm just talking in terms of likelihood. But do let me know, again, which one you personally would prefer. Anyway, that is me done for this video. I'll see you next time.